Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at one of the most garbage articles that I've ever read in my life. I mean, let's just call it for what it is here, man. Like, I just don't understand how somebody could be so bad at their job, right? Like, this is an article that was written for Cosmopolitan, and it's essentially already, like, basically celebrity gossip drama garbage, right? Like, this is not real journalism. This is just slop written for people who don't care. And even for those standards, it completely misses the mark. Like, even for the audience that constantly reads Cosmopolitan, this is a low fucking blow, right? Like, it actually is mesmerizing how bad this is. Now, this is all revolving around the influencer slash YouTuber James Charles, okay? Now, if you don't know, James Charles has been getting in controversy after controversy over the last few years for, I mean, honestly, what else can we describe it as, okay? Trying to convert straight people to have sex with him. I'm pretty sure he got caught texting minors, like, there's been like 7 different sexual controversies with James, and I remember talking about this. I think it was probably in the last video I made about James Charles and all these situations. I said that I can't understand how and why James has gotten away with so many different situations like this, right? Because let's just call it for what it is, right? If this was a creator that wasn't completely glamorized and idolized by millions of people, who wasn't known for being sassy, and fuck it, I'll just come out and say it. If James Charles wasn't gay, this motherfucker's career would be over with. But of course, James Charles has somehow gotten away with all these different controversies, all these different issues over time, man. But it's okay, because Cosmopolitan is here to help him get uncancelled through this whole thing here. Thank God, right? We really needed someone to come along and uncancel James Charles. So I don't even know what this article is fucking describing, because he was never canceled in the first place. Like, every time any of these situations ever happened or James has faced valid criticism, his fans have just stuck their fucking fingers in their ears and went, "Na la la la, not listening, la 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 la." James is one of the only people I can think of that would be able to get away with as much as he has, right? So many creators have been genuinely canceled or had their careers ruined for a lot less. And, well, it's okay though, because James Charles wants to be uncancelled, everybody. And on top of that, guess what? James Charles has a new makeup line coming out. So I guess that's really why Cosmopolitan decided to do this interview. I don't know. I guess he's got a fucking makeup line coming out, so, texting minors and being sexually deviant repeatedly and issuing false apologies for them, acting like you're learning and maturing from something you didn't learn or mature anything from, all that's excused as long as you have a new makeup line coming out and you say sister and you want to be uncancelled by Cosmopolitan. So, it's the year of our internet, 2023, and surely as the sun rises, an internet celebrity has an apology to make. So here I am, sitting in James Charles's Encino mansion like a pop culture priest, ready to take his confession. Let us begin, quote, "I don't want to sit here and fucking mope and whine and cry because nobody wants to hear it," says Charles, sinking into a plush couch in his casual open living room. "I had to do a lot of thinking, like, okay, babe, this is your fault. No, you're not a pedophile. No, you're not a fucking groomer. No, you're not a predator. But you made a big mistake." Okay, first and foremost, let's get this out the way, James. I disagree with you on your take that you're not a predator. Now, if this was like one oopsie daisy, I fucked up kind of moment, I'd be like, you know what? He had his moment or whatever. If it was genuinely something that like you could come back from, okay, whatever. But James has been caught doing this shit several times. And by this shit, I mean, let's just go through the list. In 2019, he gets accused of trying to sexually pressure a straight guy into having a relationship with him, even knowing that the guy was straight. He claims it was consensual, the other dude claims it wasn't. In 2021, a 16-year-old boy claimed that James Charles groomed him and pressured him into exchanging nude photos on Snapchat. James Charles claimed he didn't know the boy's age, but from what I can remember off the top, the kid's age was visible in like his Instagram bio and other profiles that James had probably seen. In 2021, a 15-year-old teenage boy went to TikTok and showed screenshots that he had with James Charles. And then, of course, after the boy goes public showing that James Charles has been talking to him, him, then James decides to block him. He then filmed a video shortly afterwards, apologized to 2 people under the age of 18, and also basically said he was desperate and whatnot, right? So there's been not one, but at least 2 instances publicly known of James Charles talking with minors in inappropriate ways. 2. So to say, oh, I'm not a groomer, I'm not a fucking weirdo, are you sure? Are you sure you're not a groomer? Are you sure you're not a predator? Because I'm just gonna say it how it is. If this was anybody else that had this kind of shit going on, they would be getting called a fucking predator. They'd be getting called a groomer. And I'll take it a step further. If this was a straight creator who was, fucking grooming underage girls and was, it was pressuring underage girls into sending nude photos on Snapchat and trying to pressure lesbian women into having a relationship with him, even though knowing they're lesbian, that motherfucker's career would be over with today. Not tomorrow, not the day after, today. He would be forever labeled as a groomer and a pedophile and a weirdo. But because it's James Charles and he's got a makeup line coming out, yeah, he would never do anything like that, right? As a very online millennial, I had long been ambiently aware of Charles while also knowing next to nothing about him, the influencer's platonic ideal. Bored at home during the pandemic, I watched the Dramageddon feud he had with another YouTuber whose name I can never remember, a hilariously non-scandal scandal that possibly had something to do with hair vitamins. Anecdotally, it seems like everyone in my life under the age of 25 considers Charles an internet celebrity, and no one over 45 has ever heard of him unless they have kids. Those in the former group know he's been famous since his teen years, although his storylines, so to speak, are all self-produced. Alright, so 2 things about this in particular. Number 1, the writer of this article was so fucking lazy and so unable to do their job, they couldn't do a 3-second Google search to figure out who this Dramageddon beef happened with. Perhaps one of the, if not the biggest moment of James Charles's online career, and this person who did a sit-down interview with James Charles couldn't fucking be bothered to figure out who that might have been. Imagine if, for instance, on, ESPN, right, they were doing an article about LeBron, right? And they're like, yeah, man, remember his rivalry with that guy's name I can't remember from Golden State from about 2014 to, now? What was that guy's name? He's really good at shooting 3-pointers. That controversial no-name, right? They would come across as a fucking idiot who doesn't know how to do their job and doesn't have the knowledge to talk about what they're talking about. And the reason why I say that is because that's exactly what this person who wrote this article is. And funny enough, it's more even further evidenced by the fact that they'll go as far as mentioning the Dramageddon feud. They'll mention the, quote, non-scandal scandal about hair vitamins, but couldn't be fucked to mention the fact that this guy has been repeatedly accused of grooming minors, asking them for nude photographs, pressuring people into gay relationship. Yeah, no mentions of any of that shit. No mentions of the reasons why people call this motherfucker a predator. No mention of that. We're zipped quiet on that one, but hey, did you know he's got a new makeup line coming out? And the reason why you haven't seen all of the writing about the makeup line or whatever is because I've been omitting it. That's because 2/3 of this article is about a fucking makeup line that hasn't launched yet. It's literally a product ad for this guy's makeup line. This guy being the one who, once again, repeatedly has been accused of fucking sexual deviancy, right? So later in the article, it finally begins to mention the allegations, although it doesn't really do the allegations any justice. It's very clear that the person who wrote this is a fan of James Charles to some degree, as much as they want to pretend like, oh, I don't know too much about this community or whatever, right? It's very clear that this article is written in defense of James Charles. But anyway, treading a well-worn post-scandal path, Charles spent the next few months mostly offline doing, quote, a lot of self-reflection and conferring with mental health professionals. And while a couple of months may seem laughably short for a break, to Charles, having no stage felt like an endless punishment. Quote, I absolutely fucking hated it, he says. I am somebody who likes to be busy at all times. I love filming. Having nothing to do drove me insane. In the summer of 2021, Charles prepared a comeback video, a 30-minute YouTube post titled An Open Conversation, which began with the acknowledgement that it would be, quote, ridiculous and irresponsible to try to just come back to social media and pretend like nothing happened. It quickly became YouTube's most disliked video of the week, according to Forbes, although it's been watched more than 6 million times. His next post about a TikTok cookie trend was only the 3rd most disliked video of the week, So Charles kept posting, driven by what I'd armchair therapists diagnose as a compulsive need for online interaction. It's not just his brand, it's been his entire personality since grade school. This would be, like I said, it would be a lot different if this wasn't like multiple allegations. Like in this article, it claims that upwards of 15 men have accused James Charles to some degree of misconduct. 15 men. Now, it goes on to say that some of their stories weren't credible, some of them recanted their statements, things like that. But 15 people come forward and they're like, hey, this motherfucker's a weirdo, he's done weird shit. We've seen numerous different controversies from him over the years of him doing some weird shit, but simply because he took some time off the internet and fucking felt really bad about not getting to film videos, I'm supposed to go, oh, well, I mean, he did basically fucking ask minors for nude photos on Snapchat, and, he's had multiple run-ins with sexual controversy in his career. But you know what? It's okay. It's alright, James. You come on back. We forgive you, buddy. Do you really think that Cosmopolitan would be sitting down and having this same fucking interview with anybody else who had these kinds of accusations if Cosmopolitan couldn't benefit from it in some way? Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't give a fuck if James Charles has a new makeup line coming. I really don't care. And truth be told, most people probably don't care. The only reason I'm covering this story is because I'm tired of James Charles and his fans, and then now Cosmopolitan trying to like rewrite history, like trying to rewrite what happened and make it out like this motherfucker hasn't been exposed for being a weirdo on numerous occasions. Like, that type of shit doesn't just go away. Like, this has been something that's happened repeatedly, and there's been no real consequences other than, what, James getting his channel demonetized? People getting mad at him on social media? But I'm supposed to believe that all of a sudden, he's finally figured it out and changed, right? He won't horny text people without asking them if they're over the age of 18 now, right? I don't know, man. Give me a fucking break. Cosmopolitan and James Charles's fans would never offer the same level of, like, goodwill back to anybody else in this situation. If this was one of James Charles's enemies, these same people defending him with shit like this would be calling for that person's head on a fucking platter. They'd want all their sponsors gone. They'd want no makeup to ever release again. It'd be over for whoever it was. But hey, as long as it's James Charles, who a lot of people like, I guess it's okay, right? So, I don't know, man, just a pretty funny double standard with all of this shit. So anyway, with that being said, though, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubTheOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, talking about James Charles's comeback, man. Hey, y'all getting that makeup, by the way? And signing out.